Welcome back to PerFACT Craving. Today we're diving into the dark side of gaming. Games so controversial, so shocking, that they were outright banned. These games cross the line in ways you might not expect. Stick around, because we've saved the most jaw-dropping ban for last. Before we get into it, here's a wild fact. Did you know that China once banned video game consoles altogether for over a decade? That's right. From 2000 to 2015, consoles like PlayStation and Xbox were off limits due to fears they might negatively affect children's education. Crazy, huh? If you're as fascinated by these bizarre stories as I am, hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of curious minds. All right, let's jump in. First up, we have Manhunt 2. This game was so violent that even hardcore gamers were shocked. Released in 2007, it featured brutal executions that made governments around the world clutch their pearls. Countries like New Zealand, Germany, and Ireland slapped a big fat ban on it. Why? Because the game's level of gore made them fear it might inspire real-world violence. It's even been described as one of the most disturbing games ever made. What do you think? Was it justified or over-the-top censorship? Comment below. Here's a surprising one. Pokémon Go. Yup, the family-friendly game we all love. In some countries like Iran, it's banned. Why? Officials were worried about security risks and safety concerns as players roamed the streets glued to their phones. Concerns ranged from players trespassing on private property to the potential for the game's GPS features being used for espionage. Imagine being told you can't catch them all. Speaking of catching, if you haven't caught the subscribe button yet, go ahead and do it now. Don't make us ban you from the fun. Now, no list of banned games is complete without mentioning Grand Theft Auto. The franchise has been banned in multiple countries, including Thailand and Saudi Arabia. Why? Its graphic violence, adult themes, and freedom to cause chaos made it a target for strict censorship. In Thailand, the ban came after a tragic incident where a teenager claimed to have been inspired by the game to commit robbery and murder. Next on the list is Battlefield 3. This blockbuster game got banned in Iran because of its depiction of a fictional military invasion of Tehran. Iranian authorities were not happy with their capital being turned into a war zone in the virtual world. They argued that the game promoted anti-Iranian sentiments and propaganda. Talk about taking gaming a bit too seriously. This one's a doozy, the Guy game. It's a trivia game that included footage of real women, and it turns out one of them was underage at the time of filming. Yikes, lawsuits followed, and the game was pulled off shelves faster than you can say, bad idea. The controversy wasn't just about bad taste. It was also a serious legal issue involving child exploitation laws. Who would have thought PUBG could get banned? This global phenomenon was banned in countries like India, Nepal, and Iraq. Why? Authorities claimed it was too addictive and negatively impacted players' mental health. In India, the game was blamed for poor academic performance and even violent behavior among youth. Nepal banned it outright, stating it was a distraction to society. Talk about a game-changing controversy. Mortal Kombat is a classic, but its infamous fatalities didn't sit well with everyone. The extreme violence and graphic nature of the game led to bans in countries like South Korea and Brazil. Some governments felt it glorified gore and desensitized players to violence. But hey, it's still one of the most iconic fighting games in history. Next up is Postal, a game so controversial it practically wrote the book on getting banned. The series is infamous for its crude humor, graphic violence, and lack of moral boundaries. Countries like New Zealand and Australia banned it, claiming it promoted antisocial behavior. And honestly, the developers seem to revel in the controversy. Here's one you might not expect. Fallout 3. The game was banned in India because it featured two-headed mutant cows called Brahmin. That didn't sit well with some who found it culturally insensitive. The game was also temporarily censored in Japan for its depiction of nuclear weapons, unsurprising given the country's history. Modern Warfare 2 landed in hot water for its infamous No Russian mission, where players could participate in a civilian massacre. This sparked outrage, and the game was banned or heavily censored in countries like Russia in Saudi Arabia. The developers defended the scene as a narrative choice, but many governments thought it crossed the line. That's all for today. Some games push boundaries and others just push their luck. Which one surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this, smash that like button, share it, and hit subscribe so you'll never miss out. Stay curious, stay awesome, and keep craving those PerFACTs.